All right, guys. I am sitting here with Stephanie, a member of Truth About Real Estate Investing, Truth About REI, and we are going to be talking about a deal that she currently has. It's a pretty cool deal. It is in the Alany section of Philadelphia, Alany, right? And she needs a little guidance. She doesn't know what to do with it right now. So it's a single family home, and it is a 3 bed, 1 bath. And as is right now, it's maybe worth 160. If she did a little work, she could have an ARV of $200,000. Maybe it takes 15,000, maybe it takes 20, maybe it takes 25, who knows, unless we get like an actual contractor in there. And then you also got to remember that the ARV is an opinion. Maybe it is 200, but the appraiser that day got up on the wrong side of the bed and was like, nope, 180, 175. It's crazy. Or you go like this and you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to refinance the property as is, and I think it's 160. And the appraiser, I don't know. He just just feeling good today. And he's like, hey, Stephanie, what would you like this to appraise for? And she says, I think it's worth 200. And he goes, you know what? I agree. And then he gives her an appraisal for $200,000, even though she in her head really thought it was worth 160. So that happens too. That happens all the time, right? And now her question was like, Hone, should I put the money into it, right, to hopefully get an ARV of $200,000? So the thought was like, okay, how much would you put in? Maybe it's like $20,000, right? And you're hoping that you increase your value by, in this case, $40,000. So it sounds like it's a good deal. Put in 20, you get 40. But remember, guys, she's trying to refinance the property because it is a rental property. And when you refinance a property, you're only going to be refinancing at a certain loan to value, right? LTV. And typically that's 70 to 75%. So if we go on the high end, just to be more aggressive, right? She puts in $20,000. So at 160, here, let's do the math. Let me grab my phone. Let's do the math here. So at $160,000 times 0.75, it's $120,000 that she would refinance out. That would be her loan amount. That's not the actual cash you put in her pocket, but that's the loan amount. We'll talk about more about how much she puts in her pocket soon, but let's go with this. In this case, at $200,000, the loan would be $150,000. So you go, oh, this is an easy thing. This is $30,000 more. But is it? No, it's not, because let's not forget, you spent $20,000 to get this increased loan, which only yielded you an extra $10,000. So really, you now only put into your pocket maybe an additional $10,000, but you have a loan that's $30,000 more. Okay. So she put she put an extra $10,000 in her pocket, but her loan is $30,000 more. And a loan at $30,000, let's do a mortgage calculator. A $30,000 loan at, let's call it 7%, I don't know what it actually is, right? Is 200 more per month in cost. So yes, she put an extra $10,000 in her pocket, but now she's spending an extra $200 per month for this extra, for this extra 10,000. Is it worth it? And the answer is, I'm not sure. And here's the risk. She maybe puts in $20,000 hoping for a $200,000 ARV. But what if she doesn't get the $200,000 ARV? So if she puts in $20,000 and the ARV comes in at, like, say 180, alone a $180,000 ARV times 75% is $135,000, right? $135,000, but minus the 20,000 that she had to put into the property, right? Right here, it's only 115. She was better off just refinancing as is. So for her, should she put the money in to hopefully get a higher ARV? That's a gamble. That's a gamble. Now, the other thing, as I mentioned earlier, her cost would be an extra $200 a month, right? Extra $200 a month. So she puts the money in, but she doesn't get an extra return. The tenant's not paying more money. And if the tenant's not paying more money, then I don't know. But like, was it just for the extra $10,000? Is it worth managing the contractor, whoever it may be? Like in her case, maybe it's a family member. But what if it's not? And if it's somebody else that she hires, she number one has to find the tenant or the contractor, and then she has to manage the contractor and hope they do a good job. And then she's now praying that the appraisal gods are on her side and gives her the ARV she's looking for. Uh, but she's not getting a higher ROI, so return on investment, right? She's not getting a higher return on investment. All she's doing is paying $200 a month for an extra $10,000 in cash. Was it worth it? I don't know. That's up to her to decide. I just want to give her her options to understand what she's doing. So now, as I mentioned, the loan is $120,000, right? The loan is $120,000, but I said that's not how much money she's going to put in her pocket. So this is a unique situation. This won't apply for everybody, but she's going to have to do a she's going to have to pay transfer taxes because she currently owns it in her personal name, but if she wants to get this kind of loan, then I suggest she gets it in her LLC. So to do the transfer, she's going to have to pay 4.278% of the assessed value. I don't know what the assessed value is, but let's say the assessed value in Alany is $120,000. So $120,000 times 0.04278 equals you got 5,133. Okay, cool. So now also to get the loan, she's going to have to pay a couple of points. $120,000, she might have to pay, let's say 3 points to get this loan as an example. So $120,000 times 0.03 equals, and I'm going to write points here, points, she's going to have to pay $3,600 in points as a fee. There is probably there not probably for sure. There's going to be appraisal costs, right? And maybe she spends I don't know $600 for appraisal, and then she might have legal, right? Legal fees, and that's going to be another, let's say, $1,000. Okay, and then the title company is going to charge for their work. They're going to record the mortgage, and they're going to charge for a notary, and then they're going to charge for title insurance and all that kind of stuff. And a rule of thumb that I gave her earlier was she was complaining, Stephanie was complaining that, oh my God, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff, Hone. I'm like, no, just lump it all together and give it a percentage. So I told her like 3.5%. Instead, let's call it 4%. Let's just go more conservative. The title cost is 4%. So we take $120,000 times 0.04 equals $4,800. So there you go. All that stuff. It's just a number. It's just a number. Everybody, when you guys are evaluating stuff, never lose your mind. Stay cool, stay calm. It is just math. It's just math. It never bites you. Never bite you. Okay. So now all we got to do is we got to add all this up and subtract it from that number. So it's really easy, right? So we got 5,133 plus 3,600 plus 600 plus 1,000 plus 4,800 equals 15,133. Then you subtract it from the 120, and we have $104,867. And that is how much money she puts into her pocket. Okay. So easy peasy. All right. I have talked this whole time. Stephanie, what are your thoughts?
No, that I mean, it's a big difference to me.
What's the big difference?
The 120 to 1004.
Sure. There's cost. Yep.
Hmm.
So do you do it or do you not do it? That's
I
the
would
magic
do it.
question.
I would do it. It's
Okay.
100,000 more than what I have.
Correct, correct. So you now have $100,000 in your pocket. What can you
Hmm.
do? You buy more properties, right? You go buy more properties. So let's talk about that. Okay, so she has $100,000. I just rounded it down, hundred thousand
Hmm.
dollars because you took $4,000 to celebrate, and you just like threw it in the air at the club, right? And so you only have $100,000 left. What can you do? Well, maybe you buy, I don't know, three more properties. Can you imagine? Can you imagine simply because you joined this program, you ended up with three more properties? How cool. How cool, right? And not only do you end up with three more properties, it's not about how many properties you buy. And so that's why I hate people when they have a goal. Oh, I'm going to buy 100 doors. Okay, but what if those 100 doors all suck? I
Hmm.
don't care how many doors you buy. I care about how much richer you're getting. So With the $100,000, maybe you buy 3 more properties. But here's what's cool. You're all in for each one. You're all in, let's say you're all in $120,000 for each, right? You're all in. That means you purchased it and rehabbed it for $120,000 each, okay? So what's cool is maybe this first one is worth 200,000. This second one is worth 220,000. This third one is worth 300,000. Like I can't tell you what you're going to buy and you can't tell me what you're going to buy. You don't know and I don't know. So your all in is $360,000, but your valuation, what do we have here? 5, 6, 7, 720. 720. So how much equity did you just gain? $360,000. It just so happens that this number and this number are the same. I didn't mean it to be that way. Let's make it less confusing. Um, we'll make this one worth 200 as well. Okay, we'll make that one worth 200 as well. So your all in is 360, but your new amount is 700. So what did you just do? You just increase your net worth by how much is that? $340,000, right? And how did you do that? Because you cashed out $100,000 and you bought right because you learned how to analyze. And you said, oh, each one of these is worth $200,000 to $300,000, and I'm all in for 120 for each. So my net worth just jumped $340,000. Right now, let's pretend you don't have to tell me how much you make or anything like that. But let's say in the next year, you just did that and you increased your net worth by $340,000. Let's say you make $75,000 a year. And then let's say you spend $40,000 a year in living. So that's $35,000. In order to save every last penny that you make, in order to make this much, that's 10 years. That's 10 years that you just accomplished in one. So that is what you get to do. Any questions? I'll stop there. Any questions?
I feel like being able to leverage that $100,000 to buy those 3 properties at 120. Like, you say you're all in, but like, so I guess, you have to figure out like, what do you want to do? You want to do hard money? You want to do private lending? Like, how do you do that in an efficient way where you can buy 3 houses in a year?
Yep, absolutely. So you said the magic word, you got to leverage other money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And luckily for you, oh my gosh, because you joined the program, if you go into the classroom section, there's a course called Where's the Money, right? It's a whole course on all of the different money that exists that you can leverage to go do more deals. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have $100,000, right? You're going to have $100,000, but I said that you are going to buy $360,000 worth of properties. It's like, how do you do that? Well, here's the thing. I didn't say that that was the only amount of money that you had because you're going to go out and you're going to go find lines of credit. You're also going to go find private money lenders. Oh, you maybe will leverage your IRA. You're going to use hard money loans, right? So there's all of this extra money that you could leverage to then equal 360. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da. It's not like a magic trick. It is just regular stuff that real estate investors do day in and day out. That's it. We just use all of these additional sources of capital. We leverage them. We add it to the cash that we have, and voila, we have that. Super simple. Super simple. Now, what do you have to do? You have to go out and get your line of credit, right? You did book a call with someone from the team who's going to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to help you get a line of credit. Private money lender. That is where it's your friends or family, and you go out and you talk to people and you go, hey, did you know I'm in real estate? Oh, I did. I didn't know you were in real estate, or I didn't know. Tell me more. Okay, well, I buy these properties and I make all this money and I turn them into rentals and all that kind of stuff, right? And they're like, oh, cool. Why are you telling me? I just want to see if you wanted to be involved. If you have any money sitting around and you want that money to make money, you can put that money in my deal. Really? I didn't know I could do that. Yes, yes, you can. Okay, your IRA, you got to do your rollovers or this or that, whatever. And you can also even borrow money from other people's IRAs, right? And
Mhm.
so somebody else has an IRA, they end up becoming your private money lender, right? They become your private money lender. Maybe we go and tap into hard money. You ain't got to raise from nobody. There's a hard money lender who's like, yeah, I'll lend you the money, no problem, right? And then finally, credit cards. You got a credit card. Can you use your credit card at Home Depot to buy materials? Of course. Can you call your credit card company and raise your credit limit? Of course. So if you raise your credit limit and you pay for all the materials, and let's say your materials were 100,000, that means that you only need to find 260,000 because if your credit card handled $100,000 worth of materials, there's 260, but you have $100,000 in cash. So really you only need to find 160. And the 160 can come from the line of credit, private money lender, IRA, or hard money loans. You see how this is working?
Mhm.
I know I spoke fast. What's opening up? What are you hearing? What are you thinking?
So basically, you're using this money, but then you're gonna get it back. And
Yep.
that's the only thing is like I have all these lines of credits, and oh my gosh, like now I have all this debt.
Peasy. Easy peasy. Again, thankfully, you got the course that is located in your classroom section, right?
Mhm.
Remember this 360? It's worth
Yeah.
700. Okay,
Right.
cool. So now what do? We refi. We refi at 75%, right? 75%. So what's 75% of 700? I think it's like 490 or something like that, or whatever. I don't know. 700,000 times 0.75 equals 525. $525,000. Wow. Okay. So a refi that. Great. What do? You pay back the 360 and you pay back your 100.
Mhm.
So 5,525,000. As we know from over here, if your refi is 120, you keep 104. So let's keep that same ratio, right? So 104 divided by 120, there's about 9% in fees. Let's say 9% in fees, okay? So minus 9%, right? You understand what I'm doing right here, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So $477, 750 is what you end up with, okay?
Mhm.
So then minus the 360 that you have to pay back for all the
Mhm.
lines of credit and all that kind of stuff, that's $117,750 that you put back into your pocket. So that means
Mhm.
your 100 is now 217,750, and you own 3 more properties. So you know how you're like, oh, I'm so scared though, huh? I don't know. Like I got all these lines of credit. I'm scared. What are you scared of? Making another $100,000?
Mhm.
Is this clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why was this a fear then? If this is clear, why was it a fear? Let's see
It's
how your
just
brain works. Let's see how your brain works.
no, it's just kind of like having, I don't know, I guess the fear that it won't go that smoothly
Okay,
or that something
cool.
might happen. You know what I
What
mean? That
might
sounds
happen?
great.
Okay, that's always the thing. Something might happen. But then
Right.
anytime I ask people, like, okay, what? They're like, I don't know, something. Okay, what? I
Mhm.
can't protect against something, but I can
Mhm.
protect against a specific thing.
Like, what if it doesn't sell for the amount that you think it's gonna sell
We're
for?
not selling it. We're
I
refinancing.
mean, refinance for the amount that you think you're gonna refinance for.
Okay, will it refi? Will it be zero?
No.
Okay, cool. Remember, I said your ARV is gonna be 700. What
Right.
might it be? A
Maybe
hundred
it's
thousand?
no.
No. Okay. What might it be?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have the deal in front of me,
Right.
but
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I don't know, hon,
right.
but I'm scared of it. You get what I'm doing here? I said,
Mhm.
is it gonna be zero? You're like, no, of course not, right? A hundred
Mhm.
thousand? No, of course not. 650? Okay, yeah, maybe hone. Maybe it's 650 hone. Yeah, how about it? What if it's 650 hone? Okay, cool. It's 650. Let's do the math. 650 times 0.75 equals 4875, 500 times 0.91, 400, instead of that number, now it's 443,625 if this number is 650. When
Mhm.
you subtract 360, you're still putting $80,000 into your pocket. Okay, let's do it again. Oh, but what if it's not 650? Huh? What if it's not 650? What if it's 600? Huh? I'm really scared now. What if it's 600? Okay, 600 times 0.75 times 0.91 equals 409 minus 360. Oops, messed that up. 600 times 0.75 equals that times 0.91 equals 409, 500 minus $360,000, $49,500 you still put in your pocket. Should I do it again at 550 and then 500? And do you get it? Do you get it?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes. Maybe it's
Mhm.
not perfect. Maybe it doesn't land at 700. So what?
Right. Mhm.
So what? What are you scared of? It going to 600? Okay. What are you scared of? It's going to go to 550? You need me to do the math at 550? Okay.
Mhm.
Are you getting it? Is it
No,
like,
I'm getting it. No,
okay,
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
it's tough, right? I'm like, beat it in there. But I want you to
Mhm.
get it. I need you to stop being so chicken.
I
That's what I
know.
need. I need you to stop
I
being
know.
so chicken. But I don't need you to be fearless though. That's not what I'm asking you for, right? I'm not saying like, oh, be fearless, be
Right.
stupid, just do anything. I'm not saying
Right.
that either.
Mhm.
I'm saying stop thinking the world's falling and just do the math.
Mhm.
That's all I ever ask is you do the math.
Mhm.
And when you do the math, the boogeyman runs away. The boogeyman doesn't like math.
Mhm. I hear you.
What so what's going on? How do you feel now?
No, I feel good. I feel good. I'm excited. Like I want to find a deal. And I want to get to that point. But there's still a lot that I feel like I need to learn and
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
I, I guess maybe I'm learning as I go because I don't know a lot about being able to, and obviously going to, look at your channels, but like, how to get a business line of credit, how to pull from, my LLC, how to, tap into you know, convincing other people to give me money. You
Oh,
know what
we
I
go
mean?
over all of
Like,
that. We go
yeah,
over all of
so
that,
right.
right? Remember, I keep going back to the analogy. For those
Mhm,
who are watching this, like we were talking earlier, there's an analogy of a fight.
mhm,
Stephanie already owns this property. Stephanie owns another property, right? So it's like she got into a fight and she knocked somebody out. She got lucky. She sucker punched somebody, knocked them out. So she thinks like, okay, I know how to fight. And she fought somebody else, knocked that person out. Okay, I know how to fight. What happens though is when you get into the ring with somebody who actually knows what they're doing, she's gonna get knocked out. Stephanie's gonna get knocked out. So I said, you got to learn how to fight, which is like you got to learn how to be a real estate investor. And how long does it take for somebody to become a black belt? Overnight? No, of course not. There's a lot to learn. And
right.
just because you're allowed to invest in real estate doesn't mean you know what you're doing. Just
Mhm,
because you knocked out a couple of people does not mean you're a black belt.
mhm,
You want to get to that black belt status where you can do stuff like this, like I did, just right off the rip.
mhm,
You got to practice. You got to put in your time. Everything that anybody has ever done great, they needed to put in their time. You're not special in that you get a pass and like, oh, I don't have to do that. I'm
mhm.
Stephanie. I don't have to work hard. No, we all do. I
Okay.
did. And that's how I'm where I am now because I
Mhm,
worked really hard on understanding the numbers. Here's what's
mhm,
great. When you do the numbers, you never get punched in the face. It's not scary. This is third grade math.
mhm.
Very simple. Third grade math. Nothing crazy about it. So now you're like, oh, I need to understand how to pull money out of LLC. I need to understand how to get a business line of credit. I need to understand this. Great. I know all of it.
Mhm.
You just have to keep showing up. And eventually you'll learn it all. And you're gonna
Okay.
be like, oh my gosh, I'm so silly. That was easy, huh? Next week you're gonna learn something new. Oh my gosh, that was really easy too. And then next week you learn something else. That was really easy. And then before you know it, you just stacked all your skills.
Mhm.
You stacked all your skills and you're a completely different person. And it's really cool because I've seen this transformation a million times with a million students. So, like I said, before you joined, I was like, don't worry, I got you.
Mhm.
You just got to show up and do the work.
Right.
Right. And so you joined.
Right.
We're doing the work. Do you see how you're slowly starting to feel different?
Mhm.
It's starting to click.
Yep.
That's what I
It is.
mean.
It is. Yep.
Cool, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So anybody interested in whatever, it's like, what did she just join? So new program. Um, truth about rei.com. There you go. Truthaboutrei.com. So yeah, it's you just joined like 2 days ago.
Right.
Look at all the value. Look at all the value you're getting, right? And so you see, you end up with 3 more properties. And now this is obviously all hypothetical. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
well, maybe she doesn't end up with 3 properties. Okay, maybe you end up with two. Maybe you end up with four. Maybe it's seven. Maybe it's one. But you're better for it,
Right.
right? You're better for it. So, what is your career going to be in a year from now, 2 years, 5 years? I don't know. But will you be better prepared? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just little stuff like this. Regular people don't understand this,
Mhm.
but now you do. Simple, right?
Dating. Yes.
Simple. Maybe not easy, but simple. And as you work on it, as you get better at it, it actually becomes easy.
Mhm.
Like in my position now, people are
Yeah.
like, oh, here's a deal. I go, okay, cool. And I buy it. And it's like done. It's like, wow, dude, you made it look so easy because it is for me.
Mhm.
And it is for other people who are good at this. It's like an unfair advantage. But yeah, it's like racing Hussein Bolt. Dude, why are you so fast? I don't know, because he trains every day. Should I be as fast as him even though I don't train? I would like to be, but of course not. Of course not.
I hear you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording here, but anybody interested, truthaboutrei.com, truthaboutrealestateinvesting.com. It's like Google, but it's better than Google because you can't tell Google, hey, I own this property in my personal name and I wonder if I should refinance and what are the costs and all that kind of stuff. No, but Stephanie could put it in our chat and she could get back something like this, right? And so better than Google. A lot of people are like, oh, I can look it up myself. Can you? Can you look up all that stuff that we just did? No. So there you go. All right, guys.